कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। So first of all, I offer my Sangha pranams unto the lotus feet of our most worshipful Sri Gurudev, Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Shishimad Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Sri Guru Maharaj, to our Guru Varga and all some Vaishnavas and Vaishnavas. So yesterday, Chaturthi, was the disappearance day of, do you remember? Bhakti Maharaj and Raghunanda Thakur. So yesterday we only had enough time to hear some glories of Raghunanda Thakur. We didn't get a chance to read about Bhakti Maharaj. So thinking we can read today Bhakti Maharaj. Yes, Bhakti Maharaj. Disappearance. So there's actually an article by, we can have some few references, because really what we know about him, even the people during that time, they can see him, but they don't even know exactly who he is also. Even Pakistan Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada warned them, don't go near it. Although he's sending some devotees, some of his disciples is sending regularly to provide some grains and some bhiksha from Maharaj, but telling him, like, don't go near it. So it's only by them that we can, like, those who know him, we can learn from him who he is. Yes, Bhakti Vadananda Thakur is different from Bhakti Maharaj. So there is Bhakti Vadananda Thakur, his incarnation of Krishna flute. So yesterday, not him, he's an eternal associate of Mahaprabhu, but Bhakti Maharaj is contemporary of Guruvishwara Maharaj, also Jagannath Maharaj. So Jagannath Prabhupada, they were all there in Navadvip. So we can hear some of his glories in one book of Sri Bhakti Goswami Maharaj. There's a section there where he actually discussed something, and something important to learn from Bhakti Maharaj. So that's why I think it's beneficial we read these things. So this is entitled, You Must Speak for Krishna. It's an excerpt from the chapter, What is Bhakti, in the book, A Taste of Transcendence by Sri Bhakti Goswami Maharaj. So he begins by, and aside from this, our Navadvip Jam Parikrama book, Sri Gurudev, he also mentioned about Bhakti Maharaj. We can also read that. There was a book, Saints of Bengal, Kapoor.
और सेंटलर ऑफ नवदीप
Bhakti Maharaj, he wrote his associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this one is not from there, because this is like in a different book. But there's a Saints of Bengal, which is actually by Bhakti Kapoor, which also discusses about Bhakti Maharaj. But we can take some things from there. But we'll begin from this article, You Must Speak for Krishna. So Maharaj is saying that the great Vaishnava saint, Bamsidas Babaji Maharaj, he was no ordinary sadhu. Outwardly, he had his advent in what is now known as Bangladesh in Majidpur village, Marman Singh district, near Jamalpur. I don't know exactly where this is. This is in Bangladesh. Although, yeah, this is right after Bangladesh separated. But later he came to Navadvip Dham, accepted the Babaji order and performed his bhajan under a tree. The order of sannyas is given for preaching, but a Babaji will perform bhajan in a holy secluded place. A Babaji will not go outside for prachar or preaching. Many people would come to Babaji Maharaj and offer to build him a cottage. Now, we have to clarify, when we say Babaji, they're actually sannyasis also. And actually, they are, of course now, so many kinds of Babaji. And we're not here for judging them. And like really there's really many very good Babajis, but there are also bogus Babajis. But when we talk about Babajis, real Babaji means Paramahamsas, like our Goswamis. That's why they're wearing this white. It's like they're not, they're already like renounced even this, the rules of sannyas. Sannyas, according to the Varnashram, they're wearing like a saffron, and this holding danda, and all these rules. But then, they just, when you say our Goswamis, they're like completely just renounce everything. They actually only even have only coping. But they, during the time of Prabhupada, he also gave actually Babaji wish. There are some who got Babaji wish from Prabhupada, some sannyasis. And generally when you say sannyasis, they are there for preaching. The Babajis, they're just more absorbed in bhajan. So, with many of our, in our line, the Jagannath Babaji Maharaj, Babaji Maharaj, there's Bhakti Babaji Maharaj. He's also quite famous, but many people will not understand. It's like what he's saying here, that he performs bhajan under a tree, and many would go visit him and would offer to build him a cottage, but he chose to remain always beneath a banyan tree. He would not move from there. He was surcharged with Krishna prema. He was a very tall figure. So here physically, he's been described very tall figure. He never shaved, but remained like a madman. Many people would offer him various things, but he would pay them no attention. Whatever he might receive, he would distribute to others. He was an anchorite. You know what's anchorite? This is an English word, generally referring to people who live in seclusion, doing some austerities and doing lots of meditation. So, Maharaj using this term, anchorite. Nobody could understand his behavior. He had only 2 big cloth bags. He had no temple. In one cloth bag was Gornitai, and in the other, Radha Krishna. Sometimes he would take the deities out and perform puja. So this is Maharaj asking now. So is his bhakti less because he had just small deities, and ours greater because we have a big temple? So is that the way to judge? Like here we have nice temple and nice deities. He has only small deities. So is that, can we say his bhakti is less? Gaur Nityananda, but Maharaj said, Gaur Nityananda were most satisfied by his service. Our Param Pujapad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur used to bow down to him from a distance. he prohibited his disciples from visiting Babaji Maharaj. His disciples asked, "Shall we not have darshan of the sadhus?" But Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur replied, "You will not be able to understand his behavior, and he will commit offenses. He is not within this world, but is moving in the transcendental realm. If I commit an offense, it will be anti-devotional. For this reason, I am bowing down to him from a distance." So, here, we always hear sometimes, only Mahabhagavat can know another Mahabhagavat. Generally, Kanishta, they will think someone is Mahabhagavat, but they're actually Kanishta. Or they will think a Mahabhagavat Kanishta. Like this. So then they commit offense. So Prabhupada, he knows his situation. And he knows. So, now let me just cut there. There is, in some reference, like this Saints of Bengal, it has been said, like in reference to this, that Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he actually received blessings of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Babaji Maharaj, Navadvip. One time, our Prabhupada, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he was there and Bhaktisiddhanta Babaji Maharaj saw him. What did he say? He said, "Someone very close to my Gora has come to me." Saying like that. So he was a Gaudiya sadhu who lived at, most of the time you will find him in Swarupansh. Although he also roaming around and actually in our, we will read later in Guladev's Navadvip Parikrama. You can see in the section on Kuladvip, he mentioning about him because he also lived there. But here in this reference, he said he would be living in Swarupganj. You know Swarupganj, this is in Gudrun. Swarupganj. So he said during the time of Srila Bhakti Saraswati mission, he lived there at Swarupganj. He was respected by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, and he used to see to it that Bangsi Das Babaji was provided with grains and so on by the Gaudiya Brahmacharis. So he would send them to Swarupganj from Yogapit to give some like diksha. So he said one day there was this lady, like a fish seller. He approached Bhaktisiddhanta Babaji Maharaj. He offered him some like nice fish, And that's why Prabhupada is like, you cannot understand. Because he said, somehow or other, and I think you would also be, someone giving you fish, you will not be angry. So Maharaj, he became very angry. He first of all shouted at the woman to get away. Like this. Now, this is the thing. We don't know what's happening. What situation is that? Now, people speculate. Like whoever the author of this one, we would say this can be speculation. He said Babaji Maharaj, he had some attraction to eat the fish, and therefore became angry. So that is, that's why Prabhupada, he's telling, don't go because you'll be committing an offense. So if that is not true, then whoever wrote this is offensive. But actually, the situation happened. There was this fish seller and giving him this fish. Bhakti Maharaj became very angry. Get away. Then, what did he do? He said, how this is happening? I surrendered my life to Radha Krishna. I'm under their protection, and still this happens. Why all these people disturbing me? And so then, why you are not protecting me? He became angry to his deities. So he went storming into his bhajan kutir, and people gathered while he fussed and fumed at his deities inside. He was chastising the deities. Then he came out, bringing the deities tied by rope, and threw them into the Ganga. He kept the end of the rope under his foot. Then when one man inquired what he was doing, then Baba threw him a rock, like this. So when the news reached Prabhupada, he called his brahmacharis together, forbade them from visiting Baba again. But he still continued to send some supplies, only not to casually go. So after a few days, he again called them together and said, so Prabhupada, he clarified this. So he said, some of you think I've stopped you from visiting Babaji Maharaj because he is in Maya. So generally people will think like that. He said, that is not so. But you are not able to understand his bhav. So stay away. Later, when that one brahmachari visited Babaji Maharaj, Babaji Maharaj threw a stone at him and told, if you want to please me, then never return here again. Previously, his reception had always been unpredictable. Sometimes Baba would welcome him, sometimes he would accept the gifts without saying a word. Sometimes he would just sit and stare. Sometimes he would take the gifts and angrily throw them in the river. So Bamsidas Babaji was a Siddha Mahatma. He is from the disciplic succession of Narottama Thakur. So who is his Diksha Guru? It said his Diksha Guru was Harilal Brajbasi, and the name of his Vesh Guru was Brahmananda Brajbasi. But it was difficult to know that he was Siddha because he lived far away from the world in a solitary place on the bank of Ganga. So near Baral Ghat in Navadvip. As if he renounced the world as an idiotic and worthless destitute. But the fact is that it is not the world that had renounced him, but he who had renounced the world as worthless. He hardly had any worldly possessions. His only possessions were, what is only possession? His old Kobin, his Karanga and Kanta. What's Karanga, Maharaj? I think this Karanga is like the ball, like the sannyasis they have this kamandalu. So he said this is only his possession. Kobin, Karanga and Kanta. That once one Goswami asked him why he did not wear Bahirbas. Because Babaji, Babaji usually, like sannyasis, this Bahirbas for begging. So he said, why he's not wearing Bahirbas? And he replied, I live only with Ka, which means Kopin, they're all Ka, Kopin, Karanga, and Kanta. Like this. He said, I have nothing to do with Ba. So, which means Bahirbas, or the outer garment. He said, this Bahirbas brings relationship with the outer world. That's Bahiranga. It's actually poetic. So, he said, this Bahiranga, meaning the outer world, the external energy. Like this. I have no relationship with them. So my Gora has asked me not to wear Bahirbas and mix with people who are Bahiranga. Actually, his whole consciousness is really only in his tabuli. So whether happy or angry or sad, which are all like whatever transcendental emotions, his bhavs, only related to his tabuli. So Bhaktisiddhanta Babaji Maharaj lived in a world of his own. His world centered around his deities. Who are his deities? Gaur Gadadhar, Nitai, Radha Krishna, and Gopal. There's 6 of them. For the service of these deities, he had 2 brass pots, some earthen pots, 1 plate, 1 glass, some small cups. There's Panchatattva, bell, and conch shell. Nothing else. So, whatever position he has, it's actually just for his deities. Baba passed day and night in the service of the deities and in sweet talks with them. Early in the morning, he went out from his kutir to collect flowers. So that's like in the morning, he would do this. Then he went for Bhiksha. He returned to the kutir about noon and made garlands from the flowers for each of the 6 deities. After that, he started cutting vegetables. He washed each vegetable a number of times. Then he cleaned rice. He examined each grain of rice. If he found any grain from which the husk was not removed, he removed it with his own hand. He did everything slowly, contemplating all the time the lila of Radha and Krishna or Gaurnita, and singing or talking to them. It was only late in the evening, so it will take time actually because he's absorbed, And then only in the evening, actually, that he could cook and offer bhog to the deities. So he had no consciousness of time, morning and evening, day and night. It has no meaning for him. That's why this Mahabhagavas, you cannot imitate them. Sometimes when you're lazy, then you're thinking, you're in the same category as him, like this. It's like, I don't care about time. You're just lazy, actually. So, almost the whole night he kept awake, talking and singing. So this is the thing. Some maybe they can imitate, but they just go to sleep. He's not sleeping also. The whole night he'll be awake and he'll be like talking and singing to his deities. So once one Goswami, he was surprised to see him cooking for the deities at about 9 in the morning. So he said to him, Baba, it would be fine if you prepare bhog for the deities like this in the morning every day. Why is it like this? Because usually he can only start cooking in the evening. So he started like this. So what did he reply? He said, I do not know morning or evening. Am I their father's servant, so to feed them at appointed hours? If they want to eat like that, let them make their own arrangements for cooking. He said, let Gadadhar cook for God. Nitai, he is Abadu. He has no caste. He can go and eat anywhere. So I do not worry about them. I also do not worry about my Gopal. Like a cow comes here every day and gives him milk. He can live on that. I have to worry about Radha Krishna. For them, I will have to cook a little rice and vegetables. If I don't, they will go to Vrindavan and do Madhukari. So Bangsi Das Baba never locked the door of his kutir when he went out for Bhiksha or to bathe in the Ganga. Also, even if you lock, if someone really wants to see you, they can break he has something like a small hut. But yeah, he said his kutir is never locked. So if someone asked him why he did not lock the kutir, he said, if the owner of the house himself does not keep a watch and has a soft corner for the thief, what is the use of locking the house? You understand? Who's he talking about? The owner of the house. That's his Thakurji. So I do not, that means, and he said he has a soft corner for the thief. So it's like, if you also, like favor the thief, so then why he needs to lock? So the lock has 3 keys. So, like usually here in India, it's like that. When you buy a padlock, you put has 3 keys. So he said the lock has 3 keys. All the 3 are with the 3 boys. One is with Gaur, one with Nitai, and one with Gadadhar. After entrusting the lock and the keys to the 3 boys, Baba used to be free from anxiety. If while he was out, a cow entered the kutir and turned everything topsy-turvy, he would be angry with the boys. If someone stole something from the kutir, he would say, Gora has a soft corner for Nadiavasis, the residents of his own town. Therefore, he gives things away to them. I am after all an outsider. So once a gold necklace given by someone to Gora was stolen. When he had gone out for Bhiksha, so he came out Bhiksha and returned, this gold necklace was stolen. On returning to the kutir, he kept on scolding Gora and asking him whom he had given away the necklace. For about 2 hours, he was interrogating Gora. Towards the evening, he got a hint. So finally, in the evening, some idea came. He then went to the house and the house of the thief and asked him for the necklace. The thief pushed him down the veranda of his house. He was hurt, but he did not say anything. But how could Gora tolerate this? So then the thief soon died, as well as all the other members of his family. Once Baba had to punish Gornitai for their connivance in a theft. The 2 brass pots in which Baba used to cook for Gornitai were stolen. So how could this happen without the connivance of Gornitai? So they were punished. Baba scolded them and did not give them anything to eat that day. The punishment had its effect. The next day, someone came quietly and delivered one of those pots. So someone returned. And so otherwise, if they're not returned, you have nothing to eat. So then the next day, someone returned the pot. But only one, there's 2. So Baba said, this small pot is 8 times. So today he will be fed. If Gor wants to eat, he must also bring his pot. So Baba always did what he said. He cooked and offered both to Nitai. Gora drew a long face as he kept looking at Nitai eating. And in the meantime, another man came and delivered the other pot. Finally, it's returned. So Baba then cooked in that pot and offered both to Gor. When Gor also had eaten, he said with tears in his eyes. So now, when he's actually crying, he said, do I ever want to punish you? But both of you are so naughty that you must always tease me. You do not know that I have now become old and cannot bear it all. What can I do? So it is very difficult to understand what Bhaktisiddhas Baba had towards Gor. It sometimes appeared to be Sakya, or sometimes Vatsalya, and sometimes Madhura, like that of Nadia Nagari, towards Gauranga. As Nadia Nagari, if it was basically Madhura, it's easy to understand that he sometimes exhibited Vatsalya Bhav towards him, and sometimes Sakya, because Madhura Bhav includes all other bhavs. According to one Goswami, his bhav was that this is like according to, because many Nadia Nagari also they're Apasamalaya. So a lot of them, they would impose their misconceptions on Babaji Maharaj. So they would say, oh, his mood is Nadia Nagari. So going back to Bhakti Balakritamar's article, this so he's saying here, now I'm back to the article of Srila Bhakti Balakrita Maharaj. He said, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur said, you will not be able to understand his behavior and you will commit open offenses. He is not within this world but is moving in the transcendental realm. So if I commit an offense, it will be anti-devotional. For this reason, I am bowing down to him from a distance. Only a Shuddha Bhakta can understand his wonderful behavior. An ordinary novice neophyte of bhajan will be unable to understand, so he should not go there. Babaji Maharaj is always surcharged with Krishna praying. Now, there was a person from Navadvip Dham who used to come to Babaji Maharaj. Said one day he thought, I have the desire to obtain the Supreme Lord. How can I get Bhagavan? He was thinking. And he was only murmuring, speaking to himself. So Babaji Maharaj did not reply. This person came back repeatedly to see Babaji Maharaj. Finally, one day, he approached Maharaj directly. And Babaji Maharaj asked him, what do you want? And so he said, I want to see Bhagavan. So he asked, I want to see Bhagavan. And you know what Babaji Maharaj replied? You want to see Bhagavan? He actually just replied one word. He said, weep. That's all he said. And we hear also, no, like Guru Deva goes to
Govinda Maharaj.
Huh?
Lord Govinda Maharaj, he said
Yeah,
about that.
he would say the same. Where he said, like, that's what we actually, we're learning, what, the crying school. So here, the man said, I want to see Bhagavan. I said, weep. I said, we might supply so much scriptural evidence to try to explain in so many ways how to obtain the Supreme Lord. But what did Mamsidas Babaji Maharaj say? He just say, weep for him. If you can weep for him, then you can get him. If there is one for him, then he will come. We are uttering his names, but we do not want him. So, we are uttering the names of Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare. And Krishna appears before us. He says to us, come along. And we say to him, no, I cannot go now. Right now, I require $1 million to save my business. I have my children, I have just bought a building, I cannot go now. So why you called me? Krishna asked, I have called you to give me $1 million. We replied, remove my difficulties. I do not have time to go now. So from where are we uttering the name? Not from the heart. We are chanting Hare Krishna, but if Krishna were to come, we would be unable to go. Like this. I remember also one time, someone asked, Krishna is so powerful. Why cannot he just come now and take us to the spiritual world? That's very easy for him to do, really. No, he can't do that. But why is not doing like that? And really, like, yeah, if we really think about this, if Krishna will take you now to Goloka Vrindavan, with the same consciousness that you have now, you will not be happy there. You will only be envious of Krishna. You'll be, like, it's like in a country, they have all this, like, they try to make everything nice, and then all these, like, illegal immigrants coming, and take over, and creating all, like disturbance. So that's our situation actually. With our situation now, which are like completely not purified yet. So many like anarthas and everything. Okay, Krishna can take you. Of course, Krishna is very beautiful and like that. Okay, attractive, but with your consciousness now, you will see everyone, they're only absorbed in Krishna and or sometimes, the thing about this, even now we have this desire, I want to become like a Palyadasi or Shrimati Radharani, like this, singing all these songs, I want to become Manjari, like that. But then, okay, now let's try it. Like, what are the activities of Palyadasi, like Radharani, like the Manjaris? They're the first one to wake up, they're last to sleep, because they're arranging everything over Radharani. Okay, they'll assign you as Pujari maybe, like this. But then, you cannot even wake up for Mangal Arati, like that. No, or like, for home, like this. So, again, like this. Or you find ways to be excused from whatever you say about it, like this. So, if Krishna will take you right now to Goloka Bandhav with the same consciousness, that's the thing, like, we will just be creating disturbances there. You'll be fighting with someone else there, and I like this. So, here, Maharaj was saying that you are chanting name, but from where is this chanting? It's not from the heart. They're so contaminated with other ulterior motives. We have to remind ourselves, really always reminding us, what is the verse? Ajna vilasita sunyam, gyan karmali anamritam, adupulena krishnam shinam bhakti vatamam. We hear this so many times. And sometimes we hear like, again, like this. But this is our life, everyone, like as follower of Srila Gurudev, would explain to us, we should also be like able to explain this very nicely. Like really, when we talk about this anabla sa sunyam kya karma anablita this bhakti, this Uttama Bhakti, what is it? What is in that particular verse that is directly the meaning of this Uttama Bhakti? Which there's so many words there. Anabila sa sunyam kya karma adi anablita anukulena Krishna anushilana Bhakti Uttama. Which among all these words is the direct, description of Bhakti?
Krishna Anushilana.
Is Krishna Anushilana. Anukulena Krishna Anushilana. And like specifically the word Anushilan. That word Anushilan, if you take that out, everything is like, incomplete. So Anushilan, that is the main word there. What is meaning of Anushilan? Constant cultivation. Non-stop, constant cultivation. What are you cultivating? Cultivation meaning you're developing something, constant cultivation. What are you cultivating? So then you have to understand, this definition is not something like you speculate or like, by sentiment, you just try to make up some opinion. This is very direct, like exact. It's like a formula that you cannot change and very precise. So Arjuna Goswami explained, this Anushilan, this constant cultivation refers to two things. What are they?
Power and Cheshta. Power and
Cheshta and Bhav. So one is Cheshta meaning endeavors. You're cultivating engagements of your body, your senses, your mind. Endeavors. When you endeavor something, you're engaged in activity. That is. So that is one cultivation. Meaning, in other words, doing some seva, doing service. Some physical activity. Understand? Chesta. The next one is bhav. Cultivating mood. And these two things have to be there. Meaning, if you're only cultivating activity without a proper mood, then it's incomplete. You understand? So how is that? Our Parambhule gave very nice explanation also in this one article. What did he say? He said during the time of Prabhupada, so many people serving. Here also we can see so many doing seva. It's easy to some doing only by duty or but if you fail to actually develop or cultivate the mood, the sentiment, then you're not properly grounded really. So it's very incomplete. So that's why Parambhule said a lot of people during the time of Prabhupada, they're so busy doing seva. But then when Prabhupada left, those who have not cultivated the proper mood, then they disappeared. Understand? So this has to be together. And they're actually connected. Because those who are doing seva, then by your engagement in activity, also the mood is cultivated. But specifically when you speak about the cultivation of mood, very important is really association of the actual devotees. When you're actually in contact with actual devotees, living with them, like just hearing them or seeing them how they're serving, then all these moods, will come to you also. Understand? And they're doing all the activities in the proper mood. You're learning from them like this, how to properly serve. So these two things, cultivation of endeavors, chesta, and bhav, moods, which are anukul for Krishna. Anukulena, Krishna, Anushilana. And that is the main definition. So that's the activities of all of the associates of Krishna in the spiritual world. That's all their life. The first part What is the first part? That is considered like what? Like a tatashka, like neutral definition. Why? Because it's like saying, what is white? So white is not black. White is not red. Like that. So the first part is only telling what it is not. Referring to like, okay, you're in the material world, and when you see, and you can only see this in the material world. Okay. What is that? So many desires. So when all other desires are sunya, like not there. Only the desire for service to Krishna, okay, that's what or is not contaminated or covered by dhyan and karma. And adi. So the karma means activities which are fruitive, so motivated for result, for your self gratification. And if you think about this, the activities in this world can be divided really into two. One is to get, in a sense, gratification for that, or to help us be free from suffering, liberation. Everyone here in this world is suffering. So, one is we're doing activity to enjoy, and actually when you try to enjoy, you suffer. That's the nature of this world. So now you also want to do activities to remove all the suffering. But both are self-centered. It has nothing to do with Bhakti really. Bhakti means completely free from selfishness, not even desiring your own liberation. You only desire, I want to only serve Krishna. Okay, so now why am I mentioning that? So this is in relation to Maharaj. She was telling that Bhakti Maharaj was telling this man, weep, you cry. And when you cry over something, that means you really want. So he said, a certain Swamiji gave an illustration. It is an illustration involving the ordinary day-to-day life of a householder. But nonetheless, there is something very impressive about this illustration. We're not talking about a drawing, but something like an analogy, to make us understand. He said, in a town in Bandhav, there was a man who worked in an office. He lived with his wife and 2 children. One day the man told his wife, you will have to prepare breakfast early today because I have to go into the office early. After I eat, I shall leave right away. You know this situation, no? So when the wife went to cook, she first put the baby on the bed and then went into the kitchen. How many kids you have? They have 1 baby and 2 children. No, 3 or 4 months old and the other is 7 years old. So she first put the baby on the bed and then went into the kitchen. But whenever she would enter the kitchen, the child would cry. She thought, with a child in my lap, how will I be able to cook? It's very difficult. She was thinking what she should do. Then she thought of a way she could manage. She called the 7-year-old child, said, darling, come here. She called, do you know the red toy in the shop? And the boy said, yes, I know. The child answered, said, go and buy that toy, but be sure that it makes a nice jingling sound. So the child took some money and went off to buy the toy. He brought it home and gave it to the mother. The mother laid the baby down on the bed and hung the red-colored toy with the jingling sound above him at the end of a rope. The baby saw the toy and immediately started to play with it, hitting it from side to side. The child was most delighted as he continued to slap the toy and hear the jingling sound. For 1 hour he played like that, and the mother went to do her cooking. After that, the child started to feel hungry. Now, maybe some householders here, this is what's happening to Harish Chandan, like sometimes they can be free from the child. under him some toys. So, said for 1 hour he played like that, but after, when he was feel hungry, for the entire time the child was playing, he did not remember his mother. But now that he felt hungry, he thought, oh, where's my mother? But his mother did not come. Then he started crying, signifying, I'm hungry, come. He could not speak, so he beckoned his mother by crying, come to me and suckle me, I am hungry. His mother, however, was busy cooking. No, she thought, let the child cry. After some time, the child stopped crying and went back to playing with the toy. Jingle, jingle, jingle. After playing like that for a while, the pangs of hunger returned. His hunger increased and increased, and he became more and more unhappy. He began to cry for his mother even more loudly than before. His mother heard the crying of the baby, but thought that she should first finish her cooking. Finally, the hunger became unbearable for the child. The child thought, I don't want toys. All he could think about was his mother. His crying became louder and louder until he was screaming. He started to throw his arms about and kick his legs in a tantrum. Then the mother thought, oh, I cannot stay away any longer. The mother ran towards the child, embraced him, and suckled him. Like this, the Supreme Lord has given toys. The toy of a wife or husband, the toys of children, toys of building, toys of radios, toys of videos, toys of computers. Seeing this, Krishna thinks, they're absorbed in their toys. I have no worries. I've engaged in my pastimes in the transcendental realm. They do not want this. They want those things instead. Here, take this computer, take that video, take this, take that. Upon the awakening of his real self, Atma, a man feels the want of the sweetest affection of the Supreme Lord. And so he cries, O Supreme Lord, in this world nothing gives me happiness. Everything is temporary. Everyone is selfish. You are my most beloved. Where are you? I have forgotten you. Come, come. I'm in a furnace. Come, come. Weeping he calls, but Krishna does not come. I'm engaged in my pastime, Krishna says. For some time, the man then becomes absorbed in affairs of his family and relatives and forgets Krishna. Time passes and he cries again. Where is my beloved Supreme Lord? Where is he? Crying, crying. But the Supreme Lord still does not come. Does not come. Ultimately, he shouts, I do not want a house. I do not want anything. Nobody is mine. You are mine. O beloved Supreme Lord, come, come, come. He cries and weeps, losing his arms and legs about. Then Krishna cries, oh, and comes to him. This sort of perturbation of the heart, extreme eagerness for getting Bhagavan must be there. So Bhakti Maharaj said only one word, weep. But that single word has great significance. When we associate with the Shuddha Bhakta who is crying for Krishna, then the eternal nature of Atma will be awakened. You have love for God. Love is there in your soul. It exists, but it is presently enveloped by the external potency of the Supreme Lord. And you have become averse to Sri Krishna. Passing through different species, our minds have become enveloped with so many evil desires. So, it's very good learning, some lesson to learn here. We hear that it is our intrinsic nature to love. This brain is our constitutional nature. Some people, devotees even, they would say like, no, this is something given. Like, it's not intrinsic, this brain. But easily we can refute this by just an analogy. How? How would you refute? How would you say? Some people they say like, no, we have brain, but we don't have brain. So how you can say that is your natural, like your intrinsic nature? How? So let's take the water for example. What is the nature of water? Liquid. Liquid, soft, like this. That's what you call dharma. No? Dharma means the swabhav of a vastu. Or Jaiva Dharma, remember? There's a vastu, meaning anything that exists is a vastu. every Vastu have their natural, they have their like eternal nature, their constitutional nature. That is called Swabhava. So the Swabhava of Vastu is this Dharma, like this. Now, that's the Dharma of the water, to flow, liquid, like this, the characteristic, natural characteristics. But if a Vastu is placed in some different environment, he can have an acquired nature. So what is an example? Put the water in a freezer. You put the water in a freezer, what happens? The water becomes ice. And when you look at ice, you can say liquidity is gone. It's not there. Okay. So it's like, you can say, like it's not there anymore. But really, it's there. You just not see it. And why you say it's there? Because later on, if you take it out from the freezer, put it back, like in a proper environment, like hot, then it begins to melt. And then the true nature again will manifest. You understand? So the same with us. Our real nature really is, we are soft, we have this frame, actually, this love. Right now, we have acquired nature, this is called nisarga. We're now put in a fridge, or the refrigerator, a freezer. And now it becomes so hard, so absorbed. Now this love, this natural frame now became lust. And it's now centered around ourselves and exploiting the material environment. Like that. And then you can say like, totally no brain, no love. You can see like this. But actually it's there. And so when you put it in the proper environment, and how is that? Put that person within the, like association of devotees, within the area where Bhakti is there. Like this. Then it's like now he will begin to melt. And his natural nature will again become to manifest. So that's why we're hearing, chanting, we're associating with the devotees, because in this way, then now our nature will come out. We begin to melt like this ice. So here was Maharaj said, we have to come to that point. If you want to see Bhagavan, you really want to have a relationship with him, then that actually real, very strong desire is there. Like when a child is really so much absorbed to mother, really crying for mother, and you can see sometimes, like all these babies crying, and you putting in front of them, putting toys, even putting $1 billion in front, they nothing, they don't want, just want their mother. So that we have to have that kind of like mood. Then why Krishna will not come? But right now, this can never happen if you don't associate with like devotees who are like this. That's why he said, qualification for Bhakti, especially Raganuga Bhakti, only greed. Not this, like, you have to be pure, free from anarthas or anything. All these anarthas and like easily they can burn away quickly once actual greed is there. But how to get this greed? Only really when you come in contact with a very high class devotee. And so, meaning those who are very greedy like this. And then you become greedy also. Okay, that time. So while Prabhuji is not giving class, he was telling we can read some references on Jula Netra. So we read already from Ananda Vrindavan Champu. I'm still looking for, he said there's some from Stavamala and Stavabali. I have not found yet, but I found already from Govinda Lilamrita. So I not find other places, then okay, we're going to proceed with the accounts from Govinda Lilamrita. Some descriptions of the Jula and the sweet pastimes. Okay, because very soon Jai Shri Gurudev ki Jai. Shri Ram Sri Dasaraj Maharaj ki Jai. Good Pranam.
Raghunath Thakur.
Yes.